Hello, good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Josh Hant for Lifestyle Locker Radio, and we are actually going to be producing this one live. This is episode 152, The Race to 100, number 12, and this one's called Vulnerability. I'm going to start off by reading a quote on vulnerability that resonates with me, and I'm going to get into why I'm using this for this show. Either you walk inside your story and own it, or you stand outside your story and hustle for your worthiness. So last week, the week in training that we're going to review, 12th week here that we're reviewing, was not my best week. It was a challenging week. I had big goals in sight, and I failed hitting those targets. And this was very challenging because what happened was I prepped on Tuesday. And I apologize if you see me looking and you're watching this live or the recording. I am looking into a camera that's off the side of my screen, so I will turn my head from time to time. Set big goals and targets, and I failed to hit those targets this week. So I did a 7-mile run, nice light run, got a new pair of shoes, got my Ultra Olympus 3.5, the newest, biggest shoe, trail shoe from Ultra, and I'm super pumped about it. I love it. So I'm not sure what the problem was. I did 7 miles, felt good, tested all different terrain from gravel to street to running over tree stumps and limbs and roots and loose mulch and no mud, but everything in between, right? No real scrambling, but up and downhill, all sorts of all of the above. And what I found was that I enjoyed the shoe. 7 miles or 6.9 in, great, no big deal. I planned for Thursday. I've been planning this week ahead, well ahead, and said, I'm going to do 32 miles on this past Thursday. And man, I'll tell you what, I was ready, prepped everything, took public transport into my office, went to my networking meeting in the morning, had all of my gear with me. And by the time I packed up and left, I think it was about 1:40 p.m. And I had beautiful sky. It was gorgeous outside, nice and warm, about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. And, I was weighed down. So this is the most gear I've carried during one event or during one run. And this is what happened. So 2 liters of water on the back, 1 liter of water on the front. I also had a water bottle, a 16-ounce water bottle, half filled, shoved in the back with pickle juice in it. I had bars, multiple bars. I had dried bananas. I had lots of stuff. Battery charger for my phone, like one of those charging bricks. I had all sorts of stuff. And so doing this training run of 32 miles was kind of crazy. Absolutely, absolutely crazy. So I'm geared up. I'm heavy. I'm weighed down. I got an extra jacket, all the above. So I head out on my run. Have not done this run ever in my life. I'm going to be crossing the George Washington Bridge, doing this 32-mile attempt. And I get cruising along. It's gorgeous out. Cruise, nice and easy. I had to figure my way about how to get onto the bridge. So it was a zig and a zag. And I found my way across, went into Jersey. And as I'm probably about 4 or 5 miles into Jersey, I think I'm probably about 10, 12, 15 miles in at this point. I don't remember exactly where I was, maybe 12. One of my good friends texted me, and he's put someone's name in the text with a question mark. I'm like, you know who that is? What's up? She's a great family chiropractor, a leader. Her name is Dr. Jeannie Ohm. I'm like, what's going on? And he said, well, there was some kind of cryptic message that she passed away. I'm like, don't worry, it's probably BS. I imagine she's doing really great. She's running this unbelievable international organization, has a badass family. So kept on running. And within about 15, 20 minutes or so, I got another text message. And I'm normally never, ever, ever checking text messages or any of this when I'm running. And I just happened to this day. And he says it's real. She passed away. And if you've ever felt, or if you've ever been punched in the gut where you lose your breath, like feel like someone just hit you really hard or been accidentally kicked in the groin, if you're a guy, you know what I'm talking about. It felt like I got punched in the gut. Emotions skyrocketed, and I'm going, oh my God, cannot be real. We were just with her in April at an event with her family, and I'm thinking the whole time, like, oh my God. And I didn't really check my heart rate as I was doing this, but I'm sure it spiked. I'm sure it had to spike. So another 20 minutes into running, I'm like, well, I got to keep running, So I kept running, and as the world would have it, I was prepped for some drizzle. The skies opened up, and it poured. The temperature dropped. It got windy. It dropped 10 to 15 degrees. It was 80, so I think we hit probably 60, 65 degrees. Heavy, heavy, heavy torrential downpour. I'm getting completely soaked. I prepared for a little bit, but this was absolutely beyond terrible. And, I kept on running, mile 16, mile 17. And then I'm starting to chafe under my arms. I'm starting to cramp, and I haven't cramped on any of my runs, on any of my big distance runs. Everything just started spiraling. So my wife texted me earlier in the run, say, hey, listen, I'll pick you up if the rain gets to you. Gets too bad. I'm like, rain? Pfft, it's not raining here. It was beautiful, blue skies. And, I took her up on the offer. I texted her back. Miles 16, 17, 18, whatever it was. I was already running for almost 45 minutes to an hour in this horrible, horrible rain. And she came and picked me up. And the crazy thing was, I clocked 20 miles in, but then I looked at my Strava, and I'm using a Garmin Instinct to track these runs, this distance, and it shows me doing a diagonal across the Hudson River, and I can promise you I did not swim across the Hudson River, so I'm guessing it didn't get some distance. So my assumption is I was well over 20 miles in, maybe 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, I don't know, but there's no way for me to know because I can't track that right now, and I can't necessarily drive where I went because I was on a lot of footpaths as well. But nonetheless, registered at 20. I kept it at 20. She picked me up, went home, and I ended up getting adjusted. I crashed. I passed out when I went home. I felt like garbage. I had a headache. I drank 2 liters of water. I drank my pickle juice. What is going on? Woke up the next day, called my sister, said, listen, I need to get adjusted. And she had some friends over of our friends, these chiropractors that came over from Pittsburgh, Beth and Nate, awesome chiropractors, awesome family chiropractors. And I asked my sister, I'm like, can you get me adjusted? And she's like, no, Nate will get you adjusted. I'm like, great. And he did some cool adjustments with me, did some crazy soft tissue work with me. And he had 2 points. They were right by my stomach, if you can picture. It's just below your ribs, a little bit of mid clavicle line. There are a couple points that check your adrenals, and he hit these 2 points. Man, I wanted to give him a sucker punch. It hurt so bad. And he's like, "Man, you are fired up. Your adrenals are on fire, which means you're stressed out." And I'm like, "Holy cow!" Well, yesterday was physically taxing, but then hugely emotionally taxing. So that ended my week in running. And, thank you, Nate, man. That adjustment was spot on. I felt like $1.5 million afterwards. And, yeah, great. Absolutely great. You had nothing else awesome to say about that. And in this journey to doing my 100-mile ultra marathon, this was not a great week in training. But I have to be honest and vulnerable. It's probably what had to happen and what needed to happen. And I found this out as well. I shouldn't have found this out. After that run, and that day, I was also, as I start to think back, I was preparing for a 1-hour continuing education class to an amazing chiropractic group in Pennsylvania, and just stressed out because I'm speaking with some of the top leaders in our country, in our profession, sharing the stage with them and teaching. And so nervous, so nervous. So Thursday was the day of the crazy weather and the bad run, I shouldn't say bad. 20 miles is not horrible. 20 plus is not horrible. Friday was a little recovery and preparation for leaving at the absolute crack of dawn on Saturday to head to Pennsylvania to be part of the seminar. I spoke early Sunday morning, then headed out Sunday afternoon. So it was a 3-hour drive, and then I had another 2-hour drive to a wedding for the evening, and then another 2-hour drive or so home, and then I had to work again on Monday, leaving my house at 6 a.m. So it was a cluster, man. It was a good test of energy and focus and will outside of the running game, and that's my week. So the Race 100, we're getting closer and closer. October 19th is rounding the corner very soon. I am getting nervous. I am starting to plan food and figure things out because I really need to check some stats and see where my calorie burn is. So I'm going to be, burning fuel like no other. I'm going to need to replace electrolytes and minerals and salt as I go, so I am not breaking down or burning out or cramping or getting my digestion messed up. Is what happens to a lot of ultra endurance runners. If their electrolytes are off, you get diarrhea, and I don't want that when I run. So, and my wife already told me she's not going to clean me up if I do it. I'm just going to have to get a hose. No, I'm just kidding. She probably would, but I don't think she would talk to me for a little while after that. But nonetheless, everybody, I hope wherever you are, whenever you are training for life, for an event, to increase your business, whatever it may be, I hope that you're all in. I hope that you're being vulnerable, telling yourself the truth, as well as telling the world the truth, because nothing speaks like authenticity. And I want to give a shout out. This episode is for my dear friend, Dr. Jeannie Ohm. We miss you already, and I'm getting chills thinking about it right now. So I support and love the ICPA, which is the organization she ran, and her family, I'm sure, will do some great things in the future here. So thanks again, everyone. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.